Y News. The National Bureau of Investigation has taken custody of self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa, but not under a special arrangement. Foreign Affairs Secretary Perfecto Yasay confirms that the expected visit of United Nations Special Rapporteur Agnes Callamard to the country is still on schedule.
President Rodrigo Duterte maintains a very good net satisfaction rating in the fourth quarter of this year, based on the latest survey of the Social Weather Station. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources strips off the Environment Compliance Certificate of a housing developer and some mining companies.
The National Economic Development Authority, or NEDA, forecasts the dollar exchange rate to hit the highest at 52 pesos. And tech company Yahoo discloses new data breach affecting 1 billion user accounts.
Y News begins now.
UNTV News and Rescue Command Center. This is Y News with Angelo Castro III, Gerry Alcantara, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The National Bureau of Investigation has taken custody of self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa, but they are not yet giving him any special arrangement. Rodrigo Mendoza will tell us why.
There will be no special custody arrangement for Kerwin Espinosa after his transfer to the NBI last night. NBI spokesman Ferdinand Labin says they are just following orders from the court to secure Espinosa.
We are taking him into custody dahil may court order. So wala pang special arrangement dito, but I understand the application with the DOJ as under the Witness Protection Program is already being processed.
Justice Under Secretary Erickson Balmes says they are still studying whether NBI should treat Espinosa as an ordinary detainee or as a WPP covered witness. Nonetheless, the NBI assures Espinosa of his safety, saying they are implementing tighter security, especially this holiday season. Espinosa is being kept in a facility inside the NBI compound.
It's a very tight security. The NBI is ready to address any threat on the life of not only Kerwin Espinosa but on any of our detention prisoners and on persons being kept under protective custody.
On December 6, the Regional Trial Court in Baybay Leyte ordered the transfer of Kerwin from the PNP Anti-Illegal Drugs Group to NBI. He is facing charges for illegal possession of firearms and illegal drugs. The DOJ is now processing his application to the Witness Protection Program as a potential state witness in the drug trafficking cases of Senator Laila de Lima. Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Opposition congressmen are now preparing to block the death penalty bill ahead of the plenary debate next year. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
We are going to work hard with allied groups like the civil society, NGOs, and the church to really reinforce our campaign against the reimposition of the death penalty.
Some Liberal Party members are now gathering support from different groups in a move to stop the plenary debate on the death penalty bill next year.
We need opposition not to oust the president but to help the president determine alternative solutions to problems.
According to Albay Representative Edsel Lagman, almost all of the LP members are not in favor on the reimposition of death penalty in the country. Despite this, some lawmakers believe that LP will soon release its official position on the controversial bills currently filed at the lower house, which include the lowering the age of criminal responsibility and the death penalty bill. The opposition congressman also believed that the lower house majority coalition will face difficulties if they would prefer party votes rather than conscience vote from each lawmaker in approving the reimposition of death penalty bill.
The major challenge to a party vote is personal conviction. And if you really talk to our colleagues, right now their position on the death penalty is based on their personal conviction. Mahirap labanan yan
The lower house leadership aims to prioritize the death penalty bill and other important legislations once the plenary discussions begins on the resumption of the House session next year. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Senator Panfilo Lacson urges the Philippine National Police to create a special task force that will focus on solving deaths under investigation. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
The Senate committee report on the case of Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr.'s death will be released early next year. Senator Panfilo Lacson says among those his committee will recommend is the creation of a task force that will focus on the alarming number of deaths under investigation or DUIs. The senator claims that PNP has been doing a poor job in solving these cases in the past few months.
As of December 12, 3,671 o 3,671 yung DUIs. That's one DUI to, ang dami, napakarami, 36. And then so far, ang na-solve nila, meaning na-cleared na sa investigation, 785. So parang lumalabas ngayon, 21.4% ang kanilang solution rate. And I told them that's too low for a murder solution rate.
The committee report will also include the account of the National Bureau of Investigation saying that the death of Espinosa is premeditated. However, the motive of the killing is still unknown. Lacson says there has been no evidence to relate that Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos' alleged drug links to Espinosa's is the reason behind the killing of the mayor.
More speculative than evidentiary yung kung may conclusion na gano'n, hindi supported by evidence, Well, circumstantial probably, Kasi yung circumstances, because Kerwin admitted that he was giving money to some members of the CIDG-8. Tapos yung tatay niya knowledgeable din do sa so circumstantial.
On December 20, the Department of Justice will start its preliminary investigation on the case filed by the NBI against Police Superintendent Marcos and more than 20 policemen involved in Espinosa's slay case. Joyce Balancho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Perfecto Yasay Jr. clarifies that the Duterte administration has not yet canceled the expected visit to the Philippines of United Nations Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings Agnes Callamard. Secretary Yasay says the country remains open to the investigation Callamard will conduct as long as it will comply with the conditions set by President Duterte. If the UN Rapporteur refuses to comply, Yasay says the government has no choice but to prohibit her from investigating incidents of extrajudicial killings linked to the administration's war on drugs.
The Interagency Council Against Trafficking in Davao Region is urging the public to join the fight against human trafficking. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
From January to November of this year, the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, or IACAT Region 11, records the rescue of 115 human trafficking victims coming from the Davao region alone. They were supposed to be brought to Malaysia or Indonesia to work in bars. To further intensify the fight against human trafficking, IACAT 11 wants the border control in Palawan strengthened now that it has become a backdoor exit. A few months ago, authorities were able to save 20 Filipinas in Palawan who were originally from Davao region.
Mga passport lang yung dala-dala nila, tapos walang visa, mga ganon. So pagdating daw nila ng Malaysia, dun pa daw sila pipirma ng mga contract according to the mga victims. Yung iba, alam nila na bar yung pupuntahan nila.
Also, IACAT is calling on the public to report illegal recruiters in their community. Those who want to work overseas should also be cautious against promises of employment abroad that doesn't require payment of fees in the preparation of documents. Early this week, the anti-human trafficking mural in the city of Davao was presented to the public. The paintings depict the images of an ideal community free from abuse to encourage the people to join the fight against trafficking of persons. Images of children are at the forefront of the mural since most victims of human trafficking are minors who are sexually exploited and forced into cyber pornography by their parents.
Pag hindi nawala yung picture nila or yung video nila sa computer, malalaman nila kasi lalabas nila, makikita ng kapamilya nila, makikita ng mga kaibigan nila. So, yun yung magiging reason na naman na mabubuli sila.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
Senator Panfilo Lacson hopes that President Rodrigo Duterte will not approve the proposed 2017 national budget. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
Senator Panfilo Lacson is urging President Rodrigo Duterte to exercise his power to veto the 2017 national budget ratified by the Congress. In a press conference, Lacson claims that the next year's budget includes pork barrel insertions.
And I have documents in my possession na wala pa nga yung hindi pa pinag-uusapan yung commission, dokumento pa lang, kita ko na agad na meron ng kita. Doon ko gusto matest ang Pangulo. Kung papayagan niyang umiral ulit yung pork barrel at mag-suffer yung mga government projects kung hindi niya i-veto yung mga dapat i-veto.
Lacson noted the questionable 8.3 billion pesos placed in the Department of Public Works and Highways that is slashed from the funds of the ARMM.
One example, di ba merong feasibility study, engineering design, that's 5.9 billion pesos. Nandun, heading. And then below it, merong 500 million, the same item, feasibility, lots in the central office of DPWH. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ba't hindi nyo pag ginawang 6.4 billion na lang yun? Bakit nakahiwalay pa yung 500?
Aside from the DPWH, Lacson says pork barrel funds are commonly inserted in legislative districts and in the Department of Health and Education that are receiving the biggest bulk of appropriations. Senator Lacson and Senator Kerwin Espinosa both voted against ratifying the budget yesterday due to issues of unconstitutionality, while Majority Floor Leader Senator Tito Soto abstained. The senator is promoting to pass a budget reform procedure that will set the limitations as to how lawmakers can intervene in the preparation and authorization of the national budget.
Sa local development councils at every level, kasama naman talaga yung district representatives sa pagpaplano ng development plan. Meaning, pwede silang doon sila makipagdebate kung ano ba yung mga projects na sa tingin nila makakatulong sa development ng kanilang districts.
Joyce Balancho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The National Economic Development Authority or NEDA enumerates the sectors that contributed most to the economic growth in 2016. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Infrastructure, manufacturing, and OFW remittances are some of the major contributors to the growing Philippine economy that is seen to be gaining momentum. Since June, the government has already approved 17 projects while foreign investments pour in.
A few weeks I have been receiving investors delegations from Austria, Italy, Spain, beyond the regular Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and they all are bullish simply because they said your president is a strong president. We think things will happen this time.
The National Economic Development Authority or NEDA is confident that the country's gross domestic product growth in 2016 could reach 6 to 7%. The agricultural and manufacturing sectors also have their slices in the economic pie. NEDA bullishly states that the country is still on the top of countries in Asia speaking of economic growth, particularly Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and even China. The Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program or 4Ps helped a lot in poverty alleviation. The Duterte administration is targeting a 15% reduction in poverty incidence by the year 2022. NEDA encourages the public to participate more to attain a fruitful economy.
Kung nag-aaral pa sila, dapat tapusin nila at dapat seryosohin nila ang pag-aaral. At saka yung mga nanay, kung marami silang anak ngayon, palaging buntis, dapat mag-family planning sila.
The government is targeting to reach 7.5% of GDP growth next year. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The National Economic Development Authority or NEDA remains optimistic even if the value of the dollar continues to rise. NEDA says it is actually an advantage to the export industry because they can sell their products at higher prices. Families of overseas Filipino workers will also benefit from this trend because they can now convert their remittances with higher value. $1 is now equivalent to 49.95 pesos. But NEDA is expecting the peso to strengthen to up to 52 pesos.
Mabuti pa yun para sa export sector natin. Marami namang pamilya na iwan dito ng mga OFWs na talagang kailangan umangat din sila.
President Rodrigo Duterte has maintained a very good net satisfaction rating in the 2016 fourth quarter survey of the social weather stations. Aga Kakbay will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte got a plus 63 net satisfaction this December or the fourth quarter of 2016 based on the latest survey of the social weather stations. This means he is able to maintain a very good net satisfaction rating which is 1% lower than the plus 64 he got in September. Despite the slight decrease, his latest satisfaction ratings remains high. Despite the high ratings, half or 51% of the respondents believe the president's cursing of foreign officials in public is not good for the Philippines' relation with other countries and institutions. Congressman Erice expects the latest SWS survey will serve as a wake-up call to the president.
Rethinking do sa kanilang mga polisiya, lalo na sa extrajudicial killings na nagaganap, kailangan mahinto ito sapagkat naapektuhan talaga yung mga pinakamahihirap nating kababayan.
Meanwhile, the palace has expressed gratitude to the public for its continued support to the policies of the president in addressing the country's problem.
Malacanang considers the latest survey as inspiration for the president to further improve his service to the Filipino people towards the fulfillment of his promise to completely eradicate illegal drugs, crimes, and corruption in the country.
The survey was conducted from December 3 to December 6 through face-to-face interviews of 1,500 respondents across the country. Meanwhile, President Duterte has been included in the list of Forbes magazine's most powerful leaders. The list also includes other world leaders like Russian President Vladimir Putin, US President-elect Donald Trump, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and outgoing US President Barack Obama. Aga Kakbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Philippines' chairmanship of ASEAN in 2017 is one of the topics discussed during the bilateral meeting of President Rodrigo Duterte and Singapore President Tony Tan and Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Rosalie Cos is at Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore to tell us why live.
Good evening, Darlene. A welcome ceremony led by Singapore President Tony Tan Keng Yam was prepared for President Rodrigo Duterte in Astana late this afternoon. Astana is the official residence and at the same time the office of the President of Singapore. It is also where the Singapore Prime Minister holds office. After the welcome ceremony, President Duterte immediately met with President Tan and Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong for the bilateral talks. One of the topics discussed during the talks is the Philippine chairmanship of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in 2017. Singapore will be next to the Philippines in holding the ASEAN chairmanship, and that will be in 2018. The discussion aims for a strong and productive ASEAN as a regional organization. According to Foreign Affairs Secretary Perfecto Yasay, who was present during the bilateral meeting, the talk was engaging.
Oh, it was a very engaging meeting, both with the President and Prime Minister of Singapore. We had defined
Aside from this, mutual cooperation in the fight against terrorism and illegal drugs and protection of borders against transnational crimes are also ratified. President Tan also prepared a state banquet for President Duterte. Meanwhile, on other issues, the Presidential Communications Office appeals for the understanding of Filipinos who are not supporting the Duterte administration. PCO Secretary Martin Andanar said he hopes they give President Duterte a chance since the president has only been in office for almost 6 months. Darlene, President Duterte has a series of events for his last day of state visit in Singapore tomorrow. This includes lunch with Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, a courtesy call to President Duterte of the Singapore Federation Business, orchid naming activity, and lastly, the President's meeting with the Filipino community. That's our latest live here from Singapore. Back to you, Darlene.
Thank you, Rosalie. And that's Rosalie Cos reporting live from Singapore.
Next in Y News. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources strips off the Environment Compliance Certificate of a housing developer and some mining companies.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government exempts all medical and dental clinics from acquiring business and mayor's permits.
Authorities seized 500,000 peso worth of suspected shabu in Tacloban City.
Y News will be right back. Motorists are experiencing moderate to heavy traffic in most of the major roads in Metro Manila. Aiko Miguel is at EDSA Philam to tell us why live. Go ahead, Aiko.
Good evening, Diego. Motorists plying in both lanes along EDSA are advised to find alternate thoroughfares to avoid traffic congestion. Expect heavy traffic, especially along areas going southbound in Metro Manila. Let's take a look first at the latest traffic situation along EDSA Philam. Motorists traversing along North Avenue and Trinoma are experiencing heavy traffic within the southbound lanes. Along southbound of Balintawak, vehicles can move freely since traffic is light there, while heavy traffic is experienced along the northbound lane. Still, there is a road closure at EDSA Manyos intersection from October 12, 2 p.m. until further notice. Motorists are advised to take U-slot instead. Moderate traffic is experienced along the southbound of Kaingin Road, Bansalangin, and in EDSA Muñoz. Motorists will also experience heavy traffic along southbound of Quezon Avenue, Nia Road, Timog, Kamuning, New York Nepa Q-Mart, Monte de Piedad, and in Aurora Boulevard. Also expect heavy traffic in both lanes of MacArthur Farmers, P. Tuazon, Main Avenue, Santolan. In White Plains, Connecticut, Ortigas Avenue, traffic congestion is also experienced in Mega Mall, Shaw Boulevard, Reliance, Pioneer Boni, Guadalupe, Orense, and in Kalayaan, Australia. Meanwhile, you can view in your TV screens the live traffic point. From Recto Avenue, Manila, going to Divisoria, light to moderate traffic is experienced. And going to Legarda, there is moderate traffic in the area. Meanwhile, motorcycles traversing EDSA and C5 can now use the leftmost lane and the existing motorcycle lanes. So basically, motorcycles are now allowed to use 2 lanes. However, motorcyclists traversing Macapagal Boulevard and Commonwealth Avenue will still be using the designated motorcycle lanes. Diego, tomorrow is Friday, and we are reminding again our motorists that the number coding scheme will start at 7 in the morning and end at 8 in the evening for vehicles with plates ending in 9 and 0. And of course, we are reminding motorists to avoid traffic congestion, obey traffic rules, and keep your eyes on the road while driving. That is the latest traffic update. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you for that report, Aiko Miguel, reporting live from EDSA Philam. The Interagency Council for Traffic, or IACT, has apprehended a number of provincial buses today following the implementation of the nose-in, nose-out policy. Monokson will tell us why.
3 provincial buses found violating the nose-in, nose-out policy along EDSA were apprehended on the first day of the policy's strict implementation. The erring bus drivers were issued with violation tickets and faced fines of 500 pesos. Under the new policy, all provincial buses from North Luzon have to turn to West Avenue or Timog going to Denver Street in Cubao, where the back entry of their terminals are located. The new rule is effective from 6 to 10 in the morning.
Why 6 o'clock ko? And we emphasize this, kinausap po namin sila, most of the ones riding the provincial buses going to work in Metro Manila are here before 6 o'clock.
MMDA traffic enforcers were deployed early today, led by General Manager Tim Orbos, to monitor the strict implementation of the new management scheme. Provincial buses without back exits can load or unload passengers only at their other terminals with back exits along EDSA. In case there's none, they will be allowed to traverse EDSA only after 10 in the morning. IAC says there is no specific date as to when the nose-in, nose-out policy will be terminated.
Open-ended po yung pinirmahan namin and also is with the LTFRB. So we'll see kung effective talaga and it is good for the majority.
Monok Son, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A soon-to-be constructed cargo gateway terminal is expected to ease traffic congestion caused by huge trucks along Cavite. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Department of Transportation is set to construct the Cavite Gateway Terminal or CGT at the CGT 6-hectare property in Tanza, Cavite. DOTR partners the International Container Terminal Services Incorporated or ICTSI in the latest transport plan. The ICTSI assures that the gateway terminal will not affect the operation of cargo companies and instead will help ease traffic congestion in Metro Manila.
This allows more opportunity for the trucking industry to have the same volume of cargo, but rather than spending all the time moving all of this cargo from Cavite into Manila, they'll be moving it within the different processing zones in Cavite and the new Cavite Gateway Terminal.
DOTR's plan, which is formulated with the help of several stakeholders, aims to lessen the number of cargo trucks traversing major thoroughfares.
On barging operations that can take out the trucks from our roads and make them pass through water instead.
The roadways are going to be free. So it's really important that we look at innovative ways to move our goods from point to point.
DOTR adds it will not affect the dispatch of cargo trucks since it will lessen their travel time.
Paglabas ng mga kargamento natin, whether papunta yan north of Metro Manila or south of Metro Manila, lahat ng mga truck dyan ay lumalabas sa ating port area, dumadaan yan sa along Bonifacio Drive. So, kung galing ka North Harbor, dadaan yan ng Arten, Delpan, Bonifacio Drive, dadaan yan sa Rojas Boulevard, tapos either dadaan yan doon sa Coastal Road or lalabas ng South Superhighway yan.
DENR and concerned LGUs are expected to issue permits for the construction of the CGT in January 2017. CGT's operation will start in September or October next year. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources has canceled the Environment Compliance Certificate or ECC of a housing developer whose CEO is the Philippine Special Envoy to the United States. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources has stripped off the Environment Compliance Certificate of property developer Century Communities Corporation for its housing project at the La Mesa watershed. The department says it is dangerous to build houses on top of the watershed, which has a total area of 2,700 hectares.
If you put up any housing subdivision there inside the forest, that will go down to the reservoir. And the water companies are not equipped to handle household waste.
Thus, DENR recommends that it would be better for the interest of the public to just make the watershed as a source of water supply instead of making its 58 hectares a housing project of the MWSS. Lopez says she's not worried even if the chairman of Century Communities is Jose Antonio, the country's special envoy to the United States.
DNR is committed to social justice, and the filter in which all decisions are made are based on the common good.
Likewise, DENR canceled the ECC of 6 companies for their failure to submit requirements and violation of laws on environment protection. 12 companies are ordered to submit show cause for failure to comply with the conditions under the Environment Compliance Certificate.
If you have a pathetic environmental track record, that your track record shows negligence, not following the law, and it's documented and there's evidence, you can in fact, by law, be declared ineligible to mine.
Meanwhile, DENR also plans not to renew fish permits at Laguna Lake this year-end.
Laguna Lake is very close to the President's heart, so we're not renewing any of the permits.
DENR said the cleanup drive on the Laguna Lake to make it an ecotourism area will start next year. The department will also focus on small fishermen to ensure that they will not lose their source of livelihood. Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government has ordered the exemption of all medical and dental clinics from acquiring mayor's and business permits. Mon Hokson will tell us why.
It was in 1999 when then Finance Secretary Edgardo Espiritu signed an order that exempts all medical and dental clinics from applying for business and mayor's permit. But because of autonomy power given to local government units, some LGUs did not comply with the order. Since then, Dr. Flor Enriquez kept fighting for the implementation of the said order in the country.
Hindi rin ako nawala ng pag-asa dahil natalo akong twice eh. Hindi ko to iniwanan. Kasi when I'm committed to serve, committed ako dedicatedly. Nagpe-persevere ako, nag-ano ako, dahil alam ko, ito ang tama.
After more than a decade of fighting, the order has now come to its implementation. This after DILG issued a memorandum circular exempting all medical and dental clinics from acquiring such permits. However, the exemption does not include clinics that sell products or services such as dermatological clinics.
Pag nagtinda sila, meron silang tinitinda, meron karugtong ang kanilang selling, meron silang advertisement, minsan meron pa silang spa, connected sa practice, hindi pwede yun.
Dr. Boyat Ramirez, a dentist, says although he was being required to produce such permits before in Quezon City, he stood firm that his clinic need not produce a business permit.
Minsan may mga nagtatanong sa amin ng mga local government unit, sinasabi ko na lang na hindi na ho namin kailangan yan dahil na-implement na po yan.
As stated, those who will not abide by the memorandum circular will be penalized. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Sandigan Bayan clears Valenzuela City Mayor Rex Gatchalian over charges over the Kentex fire incident. The Graft Court says Gatchalian acted in good faith and diligence when Valenzuela City issued business permits to Kentex under Ordinance 62. The resolution also says that Gatchalian was not involved in the incident which caused the fire. The court also clears City Hall officers Renchi Padayaw and Eduardo Carrion of their respective cases.
The Philippine National Police holds reorganization wherein 11 police officers assume their respective new positions. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
A number of police officers has reached retirement stage, such as Police Director Benjamin Magalong, who was retired yesterday. For this reason, the Philippine National Police needed to adjust their ranks to fill in the vacancy. In line with this, Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa has approved the appointment of 11 police officers to their new positions. According to PNP PIO Chief Police Senior Superintendent Leonardo Carlos, Police Deputy Director General Ramon Apolinario will replace Magalong as the new Deputy Chief per operation. Then Apolinario will be replaced by Police Director Fernando Mendez as the new Chief Directorial Staff effective today, December 15. Included in the reshuffle are Police Chief Superintendent Ramon Puruganan as the Acting Director for Personnel and Records Management or DPRM. Police Chief Superintendent Edwin Roque as the Acting Director for Plans. Police Senior Superintendent Glenn Dumlao as the Acting Director of Anti-Kidnapping Group. Police Senior Superintendent Manolo Azaita as the Acting Director for Legal Service. Police Chief Superintendent Sheldon Hakaban as Acting Deputy Director for Directorate for Intelligence. Police Senior Superintendent Renato Angara as Acting Deputy Regional Director for Administration of Pro 2. Police Senior Superintendent Jose Briones Jr. as Acting Deputy Regional Director for Administration of Pro 12. Police Senior Superintendent Froilan Gedilla to Acting Deputy Regional Director for Administration of Mimaropa. Police Chief Superintendent Franklin Moises Mabanag to Acting Deputy Regional Director for Administration of Pro 7. Carlos says the PNP administration is confident that the said officers will be of help in the government's war against illegal drugs. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue Camp Crame.
An employee of the Bureau of Jail Management and Phenology in Basay, Samar has been arrested and detained by Tacloban Police after she was caught in possession of a package of suspected shabu worth 500,000 pesos. Suspect Ronilda Calamaya and her live-in partner were arrested from inside their house in Barangay Tagiktik on Tuesday. Authorities say Calamaya is one of Tacloban Police's high-value targets.
Was charged for violations of Section 5 and 11 of RA 9165. Di rin man hiya pwede makapag-render right with itiya work kay mag-face siya in aniya charges.
The Rizal Provincial Police Office holds a different kind of recreational activity for drug dependents. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police in Rizal Province holds Tukhang Olympics, which aims to rehabilitate drug surrenderies through sports such as basketball, tug-of-war, volleyball, and fun run. Rizal Acting Provincial Director Senior Superintendent Adriano Enong says a rehabilitation program is of utmost importance to minimize the number of inmates in usually overcrowded detention facilities.
Dapat ito sila na ipasok sa rehabilitation centers. Ang problema ngayon, wala pang rehabilitation center yung habang wala pa yon, ito yung ginagawa namin sinasabing community-based activities para malibang yung mga lahat ng sumurrender.
Sumurrender po ako kay Kapitan dahil po sabi ko ng anak ko na Papa, sumurrender ka na. Maganda naman po ang programa ng ganito po. Binigyan po ako ng trabaho.
Meanwhile, the police reiterates its call on drug dependents to surrender so they could be assisted and rehabilitated. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Residents of San Pedro, Laguna expressed their gratitude to UNTV and Members Church of God International. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Over 900 residents of Barangay United Bayanihan in San Pedro, Laguna benefited from the free medical and dental mission rendered by UNTV and the Members Church of God International or MCGI. Most of the residents in the said area who are former informal settlers in Metro Manila are poor and thus have no capacity to seek medical consultation. That's why 80-year-old Josefina Cardino, who was among those who received free medicines, was very thankful for the public service.
Ito pong medical mission na inyong ibinigay sa amin ay napakalaking tulong at ginhawa. Marami pong salamat. Masayang masaya. Thank you very much. Naiiyak ako sa tuwa.
Catherine Taipon, who suffers from ulcer, also grabbed the rare opportunity. She brought her sick children with her to have themselves checked for free.
Sinisik muna po kasi ako lagi.
Tapos nilalagnat sa gabi. Sa kanila po, matagal na po siya may ubo sipon. Ito 1 linggo may ubo. Tapos sa akin mga 2 weeks na po. Salamat po kasi nagkaroon ng medical mission dito. Kasi ako wala po kong oras magpa-check up. Malaking bagay din po kasi bihira po magkaroon yan dito.
Among those who availed the free services of UNTV and MCGI are the teachers in the area. On behalf of them, the faculty president of Laguna Resettlement Elementary School has expressed gratitude for the assistance they received.
Masaya ang bawat isa, lalo na yung mga magulang na may maraming anak. Yung iba ring teachers na wala ring oras para makapagpa-check up kasi talagang sa dami ng trabaho. Malaking tulong talaga, natuwa sila na yung salamin maibibigay agad tapos mabubunutan kaagad ng ngipin.
Leslie Longbowen for Serbisyong Kasangbahay.
Coming up, authorities uncovered 2 tunnels in Mexico leading to the United States.
Tech company Yahoo Incorporated discloses a new mega data breach affecting 1 billion user accounts.
And BOC Transformers starts preparing for their match against the MNDA Black Wolves to defend their prison record as the leading team in UNTV Cup Season 5.
More from Y News after this break. The tail end of a cold front is now affecting the eastern section of central and southern Luzon. Based on Pagasa's forecast, Aurora, Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, Metro Manila, regions of Calabarzon, Bicol, Eastern Visayas will experience light to moderate rains. Light rains is also expected in regions of Ilocos, Cordillera, Cagayan Valley, and the rest of central Luzon. The trough of a low-pressure area is affecting the regions of Caraga, Soxargen, and Davao region, which will bring moderate rains in these places. The rest of the country will have partly cloudy to cloudy skies with rain showers and thunderstorms. Authorities uncovered 2 tunnels being linked to the operation of Mexico's Sinaloa drug cartel. Marie Peñaranda will tell us why.
Authorities in Mexico have uncovered 2 tunnels running under the border from Tijuana to the United States, with officials reporting at least one was used in drug trafficking. According to reports, the discovery was made on Monday and was reportedly used by the Sinaloa cartel, the drug gang headed by infamous kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, currently in police custody pending U.S. extradition. Authorities have not released the length and dimensions of the tunnels but have revealed that they were concealed by a factory and featured an advanced air conditioning system. Dozens of drug tunnels have been found traversing Mexico's border with the United States during its decade-long war on drugs. Their existence could pose additional challenges to President-elect Donald Trump's efforts to build a wall and secure the international border. Marie Peñaranda, UNTV News and Rescue, Austin, Texas.
Ecuador signs extraction contract with Canada's London Gold. RC Reyes will tell us why.
Ecuador and Canadian mining giant London Gold signed a 25-year contract on Wednesday for extraction rights in its resource-rich Fruta del Norte region, with investment from the deal expected to reach $1 billion in its first quarter. Under the deal, London Gold will conclude construction of the mining project towards the end of 2019 for the extraction of gold and silver between January and March of 2020.
As we mentioned previously, it's a very important milestone that we got the exploitation agreement for London Gold, for Ecuador, and without all the help from the government, we've never been here today. And I guess this will become a milestone for more mining investment in the country, as this is a very prospective mining area.
Vice President Jorge Glass told the media at a contract signing that the deal will mean a significant boost to GDP.
Si consideramos todos los proyectos mineros que están en marcha, proyectamos para la próxima década cerca de $4,000 millones adicionales en exportaciones. Un incremento significativo en el Producto Interno Bruto y fuentes de empleo, de trabajo directo e indirecto para alrededor de 40,000 ecuatorianos.
The Fruta del Norte area makes a part of Ecuador's Amazon, where there are believed to be nearly 5 million ounces of gold and over 6 million ounces of silver, according to official figures. But indigenous groups and conservationists have raised questions over the ecological impact of such mega projects on the country's Amazon. Arce Reyes, UNTV News and Rescue, Latin America.
U.S. policymakers forecast federal rate increases next year. Calvin Manaig will tell us why.
The U.S. Federal Reserve has raised interest rates by a quarter point on Wednesday and has signaled a faster pace of increases in 2017. The rate increase, regarded as a virtual certainty by financial markets in the wake of a string of generally strong economic reports, raises the target federal funds rate 25 basis points to between 0.50% and 0.75%.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to raise the target range for the federal funds rate by 1/4 percentage point, bringing it to 1/2 to 3/4%. In doing so, my colleagues and I are recognizing the considerable progress the economy has made toward our dual objectives of maximum employment and price stability.
A fresh batch of Fed policymaker forecasts indicated the current once-a-year pace of rate increases will accelerate next year. Markets and the Fed appear to be close on pricing, with Fed futures markets pricing in at least 2 and possibly 3 hikes, up from 1 to 2 prior to the meeting. Yellen said that the increases would be gradual.
We continue to expect that the evolution of the economy will warrant only gradual increases in the federal funds rate over time to achieve and maintain our objectives.
The rate increase is the first since last December and only the second since the 2007-2009 financial crisis, when the Fed cut rates to near zero and deployed other tools such as massive bond purchases to stabilize the economy. Calvin Manaig, UNTV News and Rescue, Los Angeles, USA.
Yahoo says 1 billion user accounts were exposed in a newly discovered security breach. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Yahoo has warned it had uncovered yet another massive cyber attack, saying data from more than 1 billion user accounts was compromised in August 2013, making it the largest breach in history. The number of affected accounts has doubled the scope of an attack in 2014 that the internet company disclosed in September. News of that attack, which affected at least 500 million accounts, prompted Verizon Communication Incorporated to say in October that it might withdraw from an agreement to buy Yahoo's core internet business for $4.83 billion. Verizon says they will review the impact of this new development before reaching any final conclusions. Yahoo says it believed the incident disclosed on Wednesday is likely distinct from the one it reported in September. The company says it has not been able to identify the intrusion associated with the theft. Yahoo says the stolen user account information may have included names, email addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth, hashed passwords, and in some cases, encrypted or unencrypted security questions and answers. Payment card data and bank account information not stored in the system are possibly affected. Yahoo says it is notifying potentially affected users and has taken steps to secure their accounts. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Philippine Embassy in Brazil has given recognition to a Filipina chef who has found her way into the hearts of Brazilians. Roby D. Guzman will tell us why.
During the 5th Philippine Gastronomic Festival in Sheraton Hotel in Porto Alegre, Chef Meli Maravilla prepared delectable Filipino dishes such as beef kilawin, caldereta, chop suey, tilapia with cocoa milk, chicken with pineapple, and the signature Pinoy dish, adobo.
Sou o chefe Mauro, chefe aqui do Hotel Sheraton, Porto Alegre. Estamos aqui fazendo então o 5º Festival de Comida Filipina. O 5º ano que nós convidamos, um chefe lá das Filipinas. Aqui a nossa chefe, ela vem nos, vamos dizer, ensinar e trazer a gastronomia das Filipinas aqui para o Sheraton. Para mim e para os meus cozinheiros é uma maravilha, né? É onde a gente aprende novos pratos, né? Onde a gente conhece novas culturas, né? E é muito bom, né? E os nossos clientes aqui no hotel também eles adoram muito. E esperamos que nesse festival também a gente consiga encher nosso restaurante, né? Trazendo a cultura filipina. Está sendo muito divulgada e os clientes perguntam bastante e é uma maravilha.
Chef Melly says cooking good food is really her passion, which she learns from her mentor.
Kasi lahat yan sigurado akong masarap dahil lahat yan natutunan ko paano lutuin kay Brad Ellie. Kasi minsan naging personal cook niya ako sa mga Bible exposition niya. So pag may niluto ako noon na hindi masarap, sinasabihan niya ako paano maging masarap, tapos ano ang gagawin, ano ang ilalagay para sumarap.
Chef Melly is also a famous food blogger whose website Melly's Kitchen received the 2015 Philippine Bloggies Award for its numerous views, which has reached 31 million. According to the Philippine Embassy, this is a good opportunity to show the good relationship of Philippines and Brazil.
Through food, we do not only promote closer social, cultural relations, but we also promote closeness, cooperation, so many cultures gathering just to taste the food. So in business, it's a very good start. As the Consul General has said, before business, we should start at the table.
Robbie D. Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Police Senior Superintendent Guillermo Baltasar believes that members of the Philippine National Police must watch the movie Isang Araw Ikatlong Yugto. Brian Evangelista will tell us why.
Hindi ko na alam kung sino yung pagkatiwalaan ko. Kaya I need you.
Itong pelikulang ito, dapat mapanood to ng lahat, pati na rin ng ating kapulisan para magsilbing marami kasing aral na pwedeng matutuhan na pwede nating magamit.
Quezon City Police Chief Superintendent Guillermo Eliazar believes that Kuya Daniel's movie, Isang Araw Ikatlong Yugto, will inspire policemen to do better in performing their sworn duty to the people. Especially that the Philippine National Police is on the front line of the government's intensified anti-illegal drugs campaign. The official notes the excellent theme of the movie, which shows the importance of trusting the creator, a primary character that a policeman should have.
Nakita natin si kasamang Daniel na na-portray na hindi lang yung isang pagiging mabuting pulis, kung hindi isang may takot sa Diyos. Na yun dapat siguro nagiging magandang ehemplo.
Butong mabuhay at mamatay sa hirap na may inaasa ang pag-asa tayo sa pagbuhay sa karangyaan at kapangyarihan na ang hinihintay parusa.
Magaling. Delikado ng ibang ang ibang nasa showbiz ngayon. Oo, baka pwede pang Oscar yan maano ang niya.
Meanwhile, a part of the proceeds from the movie will be allotted by Kuya Daniel Razon as assistance to our fellow Filipinos who are into illegal drugs to give them hope and direction in life.
Para doon sa mga nire-rehabilitate na mga nag-surrender na mga dating drug dependents at yung reintegration nila para sila ay magkaroon ng panibagong buhay na makakapagtrabaho sila ng maayos at makaiwas na sila doon sa paggamit ng drugs.
Brian Evangelista, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The BOC Transformers intensifies its preparation against the MMDA Black Wolves. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
The BOC Transformers aim to maintain their no games lost record at the UNTV Cup this season. A tour de force by the team after toppling every opponent in the first round elimination. For this, the Transformers, headed by Coach Kenneth Duremdes, are preparing rigidly for their upcoming match against the ferocious MMDA Black Wolves, who are known for their run-and-gun play on the UNTV Cup hard court.
We will prepare hard, no? Kasi sayang itong record namin, hard work, and kailangan namin ituloy itong laban ng Bureau of Customs para sa transformation.
Although the BOC have proved to be the team to beat this season, they admit that the road to finals is no cakewalk.
And every team dito sa UNTV is very tough. Lahat sila naka-prepare, lahat magaling. So kailangan ready kami lagi every game. Yung conditioning namin, yung stamina namin, and yung strength namin, kailangan mag-double effort kami.
On the other hand, the MMDA Black Wolves, who now possesses a 4-3 win-loss record, are gearing up before taking on the Transformers.
Number 1 team sa bracket, sa kabilang bracket yan. Hopefully, kumonekta yung namin doon, yung defense namin. Yun lang hinahabol ko doon sa game na yun.
Meanwhile, Bureau of Customs Commissioner Nicanor Faildon calls on other government agencies to take part in the League of Public Servants.
Second round na tayo, so pasalamat kami, nakapasok kami doon. Mukhang hindi kami natalo dun sa first round. I also encourage the other government agencies to participate para mas masaya. 13 pa lang tayo, gawin natin 20 yan, mas maganda. Of course, sa mga supporters ng UNTV Cup, please continue to support it. This is a very nice public service.
Watch out for the face-off between the BOC Transformers and the MMDA Black Wolves on Sunday, December 18, 3:30 p.m. at the University of Makati Gymnasium. Bernard Daddies for UNTV Cup Season 5.
Those are the reasons behind the news, December 15, 2016. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Gerry Alcantara.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching. Why News.